First tonight, the Ukrainian capital Kyiv has come under renewed Russian drone and missile attacks overnight. The onslaught, which was described as ferocious, killed at least 2 people and injured 13 others. Several residential and other buildings were set on fire by falling debris. The attacks came as President Zelensky joined delegates from governments, businesses and financial organizations in Rome for a conference focusing on Ukraine's economic recovery and reconstruction. Mr. Zelensky said the attacks proved that Russia was not interested in peace, and he appealed for more defense supplies and missiles.
That was a war that should have never happened, and a lot of people are dying. And it should end. And I don't know. We get a lot of bullshit thrown at us by Putin. For you want to know the truth. He's very nice all the time, but it turns out to be meaningless.
Meanwhile, the U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has been meeting his Russian counterpart on the issue of Ukraine. Mr. Rubio said he told the Russian Foreign Minister, Sergei Lavrov, that the U.S. was disappointed with the progress in peace talks. Mr. Rubio confirmed that America would continue supplying weapons to Ukraine, but he said European allies should also step up their support.
But it was a frank conversation. It was an important one. We had it, and we talked about some other items as well and related to the war in Ukraine, but that was obviously the first and foremost topic that we discussed. And look, the president's been pretty clear. He's disappointed and frustrated that there's not been more flexibility on the Russian side to bring about an end to this conflict. We hope that can change. And we're going to continue to stay involved where we see opportunities to make a difference. I expressed what the president has said publicly, which is that we feel as if we've dedicated a lot of time and energy to this matter, and just not enough progress has been made. We need to see a roadmap moving forward about how this conflict can conclude. And then we shared some ideas about what that might look like, and obviously I'll take that back to the president here as early as this evening, and hopefully there's something that we can build on there.
The U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio there. Well, in another development, police in the Ukrainian capital Kyiv are investigating the shooting of what the security service says is one of its officers at close range. The security service says the officer had been murdered in a targeted assassination by the Russians. Video purporting to be of the incident shows an attacker running up to another man in the street before shooting him at close range. Well, for more on this, I'm joined now on the line from Ukraine by the politician and member of the Ukrainian parliament, Alexei Goncharenko, who is also a member of the Ukrainian delegation to the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Goncharenko, for joining us. So let's begin with that shooting of a security officer in Kyiv. The presumption at this stage is that it was a targeted assassination by Russia. Do you have any more details about what happened?
Don't have, but it's absolutely clear that it was Russia. That was one of Ukrainian, it was a colonel of Ukrainian Secret Service, and he was just killed near his house. So definitely Russia, they're making such terroristic attacks usually, and that is one more.
Well, you have our condolences for that, and obviously investigations still ongoing. But let's move away from that to get your assessment of this latest Russian attack on Ukraine. Your President Zelensky has described it as horrifying and pure terrorism.
It is horrifying and it is pure terrorism. But Russia continues its playbook of war, which is just terror against civilian population, because all these attacks are against the biggest cities of Ukraine, Kyiv, Odessa, Kharkiv, and others. Russia increased their attacks during May, June significantly. Putin feels himself emboldened after wavering of United States support to Ukraine. Putin doesn't want to end the war. Ukraine, from March, we agreed on American proposition to have unconditional ceasefire right now. So from March, the war continues only because Russia doesn't want to agree this, and Putin wants to continue this killing.
And I mean, it's a bit surprising that the Russians remain resolute in continuing to prosecute this war. And most analysts believe that the only reason they'd be doing that is if they feel they've got the upper hand. Do they have the upper hand in this conflict at this point?
No, all is relative. I mean, Russia is advancing. And during June, they took something near 200 square kilometers. But at the same time, they were saying that there would be some huge summer offensive. So where is it? Where are the results? They didn't take any one even small town. All what Russia gained is several ruined villages and just some pieces of territory. So and they paid for this a huge price. Altogether, Russian losses are more than 1 million already. It's killed, wounded, lost in action, and imprisoned. So, I mean, they are advancing, but the pace of their advance is very, very, very slow and little, and they pay absolutely huge price for this advancement. So, as for me, we can't call it success from any point of view. But Putin wants to continue because he thinks that he has unconditional number and unlimited number of people, and he doesn't care about their lives. Maybe he's afraid to try to run Russia in peace, because there will be many questions to him too. Maybe he's afraid of the army, which is now involved in the war, what will be after. Hard to say, but he really wants to continue the war.
Well, in the meantime, there is this conference taking place in Rome at the moment. What is that conference all about? Its focus, of course, on Ukraine.
Yeah, it's the fourth conference on reconstruction. For us in Ukraine, it sounds like we're very thankful to all our partners who gathered there, who just discuss how to rebuild Ukraine. But definitely the most important is for the moment not a reconstruction, but to stop destruction which Russia continues. So this is the most important issue. I hope that in Rome they will find some new approaches, or we will have a new commitments from our partners, because we need military support right now. Only after we will stop Russians, we can have a real negotiations and real ceasefire, and after this we will definitely need rebuilding of the country.
Indeed, I was going to ask you if it's realistic, while those attacks are still taking place and fighting continues in Ukraine, to talk about reconstruction. But I suppose the other argument is that the 35 million people still living in Ukraine need infrastructure to survive, and the Ukrainian economy still has to function.
That's true, and that is important. But once again, what is the most important is to stop this war as soon as possible. Ukraine is ready, so the world should put pressure on Putin to stop this war, because it is dangerous for the whole planet.
And I understand that the investment opportunities in Ukraine are quite substantial. I mean, its defense industry is booming. It's become one of the world's biggest manufacturers of drones. So lots of opportunities.
Yeah, every tragedy has a flip side. Or this coin has this flip side, which is that Ukraine now has a unique experience and capacity and technologies in military production, in drone production, and things like this. So that's true. And there is a lot of possibilities also in agriculture. Ukraine still is one of the biggest agricultural producers of the world. But once again, the most important now is to finish this war as soon as possible.
So where do you think the money is going to come for that reconstruction? Because, I mean, we've already seen the US president backing away from such high spending, and we've seen Western countries profess support but do not always deliver fully on it. I mean, do you think countries around the world will be able to provide the funds needed for the reconstruction of Ukraine?
I think the main source of this reconstruction, financial source, should be Russian frozen assets. It's Russia who committed all these crimes. It's Russia who destroyed Ukrainian cities and villages. So it should be Russia to pay for reconstruction of this. Today, it is near $300 billion, even more in the world of frozen Russian assets. So what should be done is to seize these assets in favor of Ukraine. And this money will be, I hope it will be enough for reconstruction of our country.
And is that something that's being considered by the countries that hold those Russian assets?
Yeah, it is under consideration. Today, Ukraine receives interest from this money. This money are frozen. Russia cannot take them back. And there is big discussion also about the way how to seize it. I think that sooner or later it will happen, and it should happen. And Ukraine should receive this money to reconstruct the country.
Mr. Goncharenko, I want to thank you very much indeed for taking the time to talk to us. Alexei Goncharenko is a politician and member of the Ukrainian parliament, who is also a member of the Ukrainian delegation to the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe. And he was talking to me from Ukraine.